The Detroit Pistons, one of the worst performing NBA franchises in recent history, have really only known struggle for almost 20 years. In fact, it's been so bad that the last time they won a single playoff game was in 2008. Yeah, it's been grim in Detroit. Things are finally starting to turn around though. Currently knocking on the door of playoff contention in the Eastern Conference, the Pistons are showing signs of life and promise not seen in years. At the center of this revival is one man, Cade Cunningham. This year, the 22-year-old guard is posting remarkable averages of 24 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds per game, emerging as the superstar Detroit envisioned when they selected him first overall in the 2021 NBA draft. Cade's journey to becoming the face of the Pistons wasn't easy though. It was a long process filled with injury, heartbreak, and a lot of hard work. Before we explore the rise of Cade Cunningham, we gotta go over what got him to the NBA in the first place. Hopefully it gives us a bit of perspective for what he's capable of going forward. Early on, Cade's size, basketball IQ, and leadership qualities set him apart from the rest. By the time he reached Montverde Academy, one of the nation's premier high school basketball programs, he was already recognized as a can't-miss prospect. Playing alongside other future NBA talents like Scottie Barnes, Cunningham led Montverde to an undefeated season in his senior year. That team's dominance was historic, often dismantling opponents by 20 or more points, and Cade's ability to excel in a loaded lineup showcased his unselfishness and versatility. His leadership during this time wasn't just about scoring though, it was about setting the tone for his team and ensuring everyone elevated their game. Of course, Cade had a lot of college offers after all this, and ended up settling on Oklahoma State. It was a bit of a surprising move, but starts to make a lot of sense when you see that they hired his older brother as an assistant coach. At Oklahoma State, Cade's talents were on full display. In his lone college season, he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game, earning consensus All-American honors and the Big 12 Player of the Year award. His composure in clutch moments became a hallmark of his game, whether it was a game-winning three-pointer or his ability to orchestrate comeback victories. Cade consistently demonstrated that he could rise to the occasion despite being the clear focal point of opposing defenses. Cunningham's rise to the top of the draft board was no surprise. During the pre-draft process, scouts raved about his positionless style of play. At 6'7" with a strong frame, he had the size of a forward but the vision and ball handling of a point guard. This versatility combined with his calm demeanor and high basketball IQ made him a dream prospect for any rebuilding team. The Detroit Pistons, who as we went over had been in the trenches of the NBA for years, saw him as their potential franchise savior. This is where things start to take a turn though. Despite being so highly touted and the number 1 pick of the draft, Cade's NBA career began under a cloud of uncertainty. Persistent injuries in his rookie season, and especially his second season where he played only 12 games, stunted his growth for a bit, and the Pistons, as they had been for much of the past decade, were among the league's bottom feeders yet again. With Cade coming into the league not as dominant as some of the other recent top draft picks, Detroit fans were getting worried that the Pistons would never escape their reputation as a failing franchise. In recent history, the Pistons struggled hard with missed draft opportunities, failed player development, and front office decisions that kept the team in a seemingly endless cycle of rebuilding. The Pistons' struggles can be quickly showcased by draft misses like Stanley Johnson over Devin Booker in 2015 or Luke Kennard over Donovan Mitchell in 2017. Add to that the inability to develop young talent into consistent contributors, and it's no wonder the franchise found itself perpetually stuck in the lottery. Detroit's dark years extended beyond the draft though. This team's free agency signings and trades often lacked direction, with moves like the acquisition of Blake Griffin bringing short-term excitement but really no lasting success. For fans, the combination of poor decisions and lack of encore results created a sense of apathy and frustration that honestly might be hard to understand unless you're a Hornets fan. Despite the early injury troubles, Cade Cunningham has finally settled into the league. He truly has become the beacon of hope for Detroit that was promised. His climb to NBA stardom has energized not just the team, but the entire fan base. Cunningham's ability to control the game, whether by scoring, facilitating, or leading by example, has transformed the Pistons from a perennial laughingstock to an on-the-rise competitive squad. The crazy thing is, despite being a pretty mean distributor, he really isn't working with much right now. It's still a young team that's finding its identity in the NBA. Jalen Duren has struggled with fouling out this year, Jaden Ivey, despite showing promise, is injured for the rest of the year, and the team is just young in general. The fact that this team could be fighting for a playoff spot shows just how far Cade could take this team once his teammates get on his level. Cade's performance this season is already getting him in the door for Pistons legends discussion. The comparisons to past Pistons legends like Isaiah Thomas are unavoidable, and while Cade's style differs, his impact on the team's culture reminds a lot of people of those glory days. But how far can Cade really go? Could Cade really get Detroit a chip at some point in the future? Let's explore the possibilities. To start, I truly believe that Cade has what it takes to be a #1 option on a championship-winning team. At 22 years old, he's putting up stats that some All-Stars in their prime dream of putting up, and he's actually leading a team while doing it. It's working too. With the improvement we've seen already for Detroit, going from last place to fighting for playoff contention, it's almost certain that they'll be fighting for a top spot in a few years once Cade is entering his prime. One thing has to happen though. Cade needs some real help if this team wants to go anywhere, especially contend for championships. Of course, this could come from the development of people like Jaden Ivey, who shows a lot of promise but needs growth, or Jalen Duren, who could probably be described in the exact same way. But it also could come from free agency or trades if the development can't happen. Once Cade himself is ready to shoot for a championship, the team needs to trade up and get the man another All-Star to play with. Let's be honest, Detroit needs Cade Cunningham. If he left at any point, could you imagine the levels of depression amongst fans? For the first time in years, Pistons fans are daring to dream, so let's hope those dreams aren't swiftly crushed by an inept front office. The Pistons need to follow a path similar to the one followed by the Dallas Mavericks for Luka. They gave a lot of guys a lot of time to develop, but when it came time to shoot for championship runs, the Mavs traded for Kyrie Irving and kept looking to tool the team up through trades like the acquisitions of PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. In short, the Pistons can't be afraid to make moves when the time comes. And there you have it. Cade Cunningham is shaping up to be the cornerstone of a new era for the Detroit Pistons. His talent, leadership, and determination have given a franchise long struggling a glimmer of hope for a brighter future. But for the Pistons to truly rise, they'll need to capitalize on his potential, make smart moves, and surround him with the talent he deserves. The question is, can Detroit's front office rise to the challenge? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into Cade Cunningham and the Pistons' resurgence, be sure to like, subscribe, and maybe even hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more weekly content like this. Let us know in the comments, do you think Cade has what it takes to bring a championship back to Detroit?